Welcome to Real Estate Real Talk with me, Skyleigh. I'm a realtor, coach, and founder of Forever Kamloops and Forever Kelowna Real Estate Groups and the creator of Elevation Real Estate, the realtor coaching platform. After nearly a decade in this industry, I've built a business that gives me more freedom, more income, and more time with the people I love. And now I'm here to help other realtors do the same. This podcast is for agents who want to build a thriving real estate business without burning out. We talk about scaling smart and building systems so you can buy back your life, because life shouldn't feel like all work and no play. And if you're a buyer or seller tuning in, consider this your backstage pass. You'll hear unfiltered conversations with top agents and industry pros, giving you the same insights we share behind closed doors. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better you can advocate for yourself and work with someone who truly has your back. Let's get real. Okay, today I am here with Keith Strang. It's Strang, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
I was like,
Strang without the E. Oh, everyone, it's, yeah.
Amazing. Okay.
Yep,
you are a managing broker and owner of Oakwyn Realty, Encore in Coquitlam, which is super cool that you are a broker owner. I feel like broker owners are far and few between these days. I feel like a lot of times you're either a broker or an owner, but you're both. So that's great. And You've been in the industry 24 years. Yeah, it's cool. And then we were just chatting about this, that you're selling real estate as well as operating as the broker owner. And I think that is a unique situation for you to be in. And it's unique for the agents that get to learn from you as well, because you really are like boots on the ground, experiencing what we're experiencing every single day. And just with the way that things are changing so quickly, and you being able to talk about it in a way that is, again, boots on the ground. I think that it's a really awesome model that you are working from. And I've actually said this in the past, where I think that realtors should buy and sell real estate personally, like every couple of years as well, because we forget. Right? Like we forget the emotional roller coaster and the process for the feelings behind it and the overwhelm of gathering documents for financing and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I feel like what you're doing reminds me of keeping your skills sharp, boots on the ground. You understand it from an actual like immersive level.
It's easier to help people. And to be honest, selfishly, I learn from everybody too. So I think it's perfect, because when someone has an issue or a problem, we have to work through it. And then I learn from that, because honestly, I shouldn't say this, but probably more than half the time anyway, I don't know the answer. When we get a question from an agent or there's a situation, we don't necessarily know the answer, or there isn't a clear answer. So we have to work through it with them and try and solve that problem. But by doing that, I'm learning. So I can use that in my business. So it's almost like free, like actually it's the part I like best about being a managing broker, is just the problems and the questions. Not necessarily problems, but problems are opportunities. So it's always good that we're always learning, and then we can pass that on. And I have any agent with me will tell you that I gladly tell them everything I've done wrong over the years, because like anybody else, I've made mistakes on deals. And so I'm happy to tell everybody. That's the first thing I'm happy to tell people, actually, is what I've done wrong, so that they don't do it.
Yeah, I think that honestly, mistakes and failure is like super important in order to be a better version of you and to grow and develop. And people don't talk enough about the mistakes that they've made. It's actually one question that I ask quite often on the podcast is, what was a mistake that you have done over the year, and that if you were to restart your business again, you would do differently? And yeah, I think it's important, because you don't always get it right the first time. And if we can like learn from each other's mistakes, it's fail forward.
Exactly. And that's, again, biggest thing I tell agents is when something goes wrong, just in a deal, never mind necessarily a mistake in how you're running your business, but just a mistake you've made with a client or with a deal, is the best way to rectify a mistake is to own your mistake. So a lot of people, the first reaction is always defensive. And I get that with agents all the time. Oh, well, but this, but that, all these reasons. I'm like, no, easiest thing to do, if you made a mistake, own up to the mistake with your client, with everybody, and then you fix it. And generally speaking, everyone's happy. Nobody can really be upset with you if you own what's happened basically.
100%. And I don't know where the mentality comes from to get defensive and then point fingers at everybody else and everything else that
Yep.
has caused you to do the thing that you did. The fastest way to reconcile anything is to be like, okay, this is where I messed up. I'm going to take ownership for this. And when you apologize, I always put forward what I'm going to do next time so that people understand that
Yeah.
you recognize the mistake. Because you just say, oh, sorry. And like you don't
You know,
necessarily, you can't really take ownership of exactly what the thing was. But it's even reminding me of when I was in the serving industry. I remember this being a thing that a lot of the servers would do is if food would come out inaccurate or if it like was super slow or something like that, it would always be pointed at everybody else.
yep.
And I remember that I accidentally forgot to put in an order and it was like 40 minutes later. And then the clients, you know, I've been in real
Yep.
estate too long, the table was like, where's our food and all these things. And I was like, oh, it should be out any minute now. And I go over and I'm like, oh no, I
Yeah.
forgot to put it in. And like, I could have easily been like, oh, the kitchen lost it
Yep.
or it's just really backed up back there or like all these excuses. But like, they took it so much better, me actually just owning the mistake.
Yeah.
And I remember that so long ago and it's translated into everything now. So I do agree that if you
No,
just
exactly, because
own
people
it,
can't get up. They almost can't get upset with you. How can you get upset with somebody if they apologize
it'd be
and
like,
own
oh, you owned your
what they
mistake.
did? It's
Shame
like,
on you for owning your mistake. That just sounds so
yeah,
silly.
you can't. And it's the same thing with, it's like we teach our kids, so it's the same thing, right? you don't
100%.
deny what you did or try to blame it on somebody else, because no matter what, even if someone else pushed you to do something as a kid, whatever it is, but you still did it.
Yeah.
So in the end, you don't want to start blaming people for what you do. But it's the easiest thing to do. That's actually not. That's why I don't get it. The easiest thing to do is actually just admit it. It's a lot less stressful than trying to come up with a bunch of reasons why it's not your fault. That just leads to trouble. Anyway.
Yeah. But you
Yep.
know what? I think part of your role as a managing broker is I always feel like the managing brokers are like the parents of
Yep.
of the brokerage and that like when I call I'm like, oh, I'm calling mom or dad and like having to ask or can
Yep.
I bounce an idea off of you type thing. And I think that you have to manage a lot of emotions for the agents as well because obviously like us being in the industry and helping people buy and sell, they're going through a lot of emotions, which kind
Oh
of
yeah.
falls on us. There's a lot of stress that kind of comes with it for us. In the market being a little volatile over the last number of years, how have you been able to like manage like positivity within the brokerage
Yep.
and
That's a
consistency for like the agents? Exactly.
That's a good question. I talked about this with somebody recently, but I think the biggest thing is obviously being positive. But I always try to relate to the agents. So first of all, is let them know that we're in the same boat. So again, I'm selling too, so I know exactly what you're talking about because it's affecting everybody. But the other thing is trying to be positive actually and encourage people to work on their systems, work on their business because real estate is always a roller coaster. So market's good, market's bad. It's always a roller coaster, even from day to day. And I've been doing it 24 years and I have the same problem. There's days where you don't feel good. You're like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? You're worried about the future. You're always worrying about something. And you do a deal, you're on a high, then you don't for a couple of days or whatever, then you're on a low. So I always just try to relate to the agents and let them know that we're in the same boat, but also try to be positive. Because I find the biggest problem in this market is people, they like to talk about the market not being good, which I understand. And then I think people look for other people to validate the negativity. So I try myself not to be negative, but I also, sorry, I babble all over the place, but I was struggling with this a little bit because I don't want to, I've been in business long enough that I'm doing okay every year. Like I have my past clients, so the market affects me, but I've been doing it long enough that I'm not worried about it, put it that way. But I don't want to tell people when they ask me how things are going. I've thought, I don't want to tell them things are going well because I don't want them to feel bad. But then I realized I think it's better to tell them things are going going okay, going well, and explain why. Like you need to stay positive because if you keep doing the right things, the market doesn't matter. It
Yeah,
really
I
doesn't. It
agree. I
comes
don't
and
think the
goes.
market matters at all. It matters
No.
about what you're doing on a daily basis more so than anything. And when the
Yeah.
market isn't quote unquote good, which I also don't like that term, I feel like
Yeah.
it is it's full of opportunity because if people have problems, now we can solve
That's
those
right.
problems. And
Yeah.
the people who solve the most problems typically do the best.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And that's what we're doing in this business. You're right, is solving problems. So people are always going to buy and sell real estate. So whatever the market is, just take those conditions and use them to help
yeah.
people.
Yeah,
And
I definitely
also,
agree. And you know what's funny though is that like you almost have to ask people, I'm like, do you want to be helped or do you want to be heard?
yeah,
'Cause I'm like, I automatically sometimes jump to helping people and I'm like, oh wait, maybe they just want to be heard right now. Are you calling to
yeah,
vent or are you calling because you want me to give you some tools and resources and like accountability here?
yep. And that's the hard part because probably they want both. They probably want to be heard, but then they probably need the tools. So yeah, it's a balance of how to deal with people to help them, to make them feel heard, but also not to. I guess you don't want to guide them down that path of negativity. That's I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing that we try to help people with is not. I'm the same. If I'm not feeling good about something, sure, I'm looking at you inherently look for people that are going to agree with you, and somehow that makes you feel better that they agree with you, but it doesn't help you.
It doesn't help.
If you're
No.
with a bunch of people that agree the market's not good, then you're just going to sit there and use that as okay, the market's not good, so that's why I'm not doing well. No, that's not why you're not doing well. The market's fine. You just need to treat it like a business and do these certain steps and you will do fine. So I think that's the biggest thing is maintaining, say, just positivity. And then through examples, just,
Yeah, leading
I
by
think that's a great
example.
about being in the industry a long time. And like I said before, even about telling people about my mistakes is I think I use that to make mistakes is one thing. When someone comes to me with a problem, I think it makes it easier for them to admit their mistake and move on if I can tell them all the times I've done the same thing. I'm like, it's not a problem. You don't need to actually feel bad that you made a mistake because we all make these mistakes. So put them in a spot where they feel safe and not like you're same with a kid. Like you're not sitting there pointing your finger at them, getting mad at them. You're like, no, it's okay. Like I've
Yeah.
done this. This is what we
Yeah,
do.
you're
This is
like,
how we get
okay,
out of
yeah,
it. Like
this was a
I got
mistake.
yeah, I hear you because I usually I have better like worse ones to be honest. So I'll tell agents that's not that bad. I've done this and this is what happened. It's cost me this, whatever. So don't
Yeah.
worry.
And you're like, how do we just make it so we don't do it next time? I think I identify the problem, made a mistake, own it. Let's just
Yeah.
not do it again.
And so the same thing with the, I guess, positivity where you just try to just put yourself in their shoes and just say, again, I've been in 24 years. So I've been through ups and downs in the market. And I've also been times where I feel, like I said, I've been down and out, like not, but yes, I have been. I've been in times where I felt like, oh, I want to get out of this industry. This is no, I don't know how I'm going to make it. So I've been through all the same emotions. That's the only reason why I'm better able to handle it now because
Yeah.
I've already been in all those places. So I try to make people also feel better because I'm like, where you are and how you feel. Yep, I have been in the same place and felt the same way. So there's nothing wrong with feeling that way, but you don't need to feel that way.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then I mean, we did talk about this a little bit with like consistency and like positivity and just getting back to those activities. What daily activities do you tell
Yep.
your agents to focus on?
That's a good question. I have to think about that now because I'm not sure I do a great job of that. But daily activities, but in general, if you're a veteran, not veteran, but if you've been in the business for more than 5 years, for example, then my biggest thing with my business and what I always telling people is just stay in touch with your clients. It's so easy, but yes, so easy not to do it. But you have
Yeah.
to religiously touch with your clients. So I have systems set up to do it, but it's something you have to do daily, and you have to treat this uh, not as a job, but as a business. Like you have to do certain activities every day. You do have to reach out to people every day. You do have to send properties to people every day. You have to find new ways to generate leads. There's lots of different things, but you need to systemize it and make sure you spend the time every day doing those things. So everyone is different. Like we'll sit down with agents and business plan with them. So the activities they need to do every day may be different, But the biggest thing, I guess, for me is that you need to do something every day. And this is going to sound dumb, I think, but even when I had a team before, I'd tell people, you get people telling agents, don't waste your time with certain buyers. Don't waste your time doing this and that. And I'm like, no, if you have nothing to do, then it's not a waste of time. I'll take a buyer out that I don't know if they're serious, to be honest. I've done that many times. If I'm not busy, then something can come out of action. Whereas if you don't take any action, definitely nothing is going to come out of it. So I'm like, don't always try to overthink everything you do and make sure that you're going to get something. Like, just be out there. Go to events, go to pre-sale presentations, go to networking events, just be out there. Go to open houses. If you're a new agent on the weekends, go to other people's open houses. Even if you're not hosting, go to the open houses. Just be out in the business or be in the industry.
Yeah,
so
no
if you're,
kidding.
and that's, so it's not really, it's, I think, easy, but not easy. But don't always be looking for what am I going to get out of it if I do this. Again, for sure, what you're going to get if you don't do anything is nothing. So just be doing things.
And we are in a relationship business. Like, you should be out in the public, meeting new people and networking and talking to people. If you're not wanting to meet and talk to new people, then unfortunately you're probably in the wrong business, because it is all about relationships and maintaining those relationships long term.
It is.
You said something, and I feel like it's a really big problem for a lot of people in the industry, is when they do say that sentence that you said about don't waste your time on blank. And something that I coach to as well is that I always talk about having your pipeline, and like, it's just like this big funnel where all of the leads come in the top, and then you have to categorize them based on their timeline and set up your nurture and follow up based off of their timeline. It's not that people are a waste of time. It's just that they don't need as much nurturing in that moment because they're not ready to go yet, but they're still people that you have to build and nurture a relationship with. So my pipeline is full of people that are like A clients, B clients, C clients, like 30 days out, 30 to 90 days, like 60. Some people I'm working with for 2 years plus because they're doing a retirement plan, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean don't waste your time on these people? These people are like, number one, they're people. Number two, you're in a relationship business. And number three is that eventually a no is a roadblock in somebody else's mind, because it shouldn't be a no. It should actually be a not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, I agree. So I should use that actually when I talk to my agents.
But it's sad when they say don't waste your time, and I'm like, oh, that is just like the wrong mindset. No. And like you were talking about that earlier, about all about mindset and positivity, right? We could either be half full glass or half empty, and I'm like, oh, can't imagine waking up every day half empty.
No, but I think a lot of people do, not on purpose. They just have to switch it. It's a very fine line. The difference is not much. It's like you say, just how are you looking at that? Half empty or half full. But if you have clients in your pipeline, it doesn't matter when they're going to buy. Like, you just work those people. They might refer you somebody. I know, I tell this story to lots of people, but I took last year I had a client's brother. My client who's done a few transactions called me and asked, can you help my brother sell his mobile home? And I've never sold a mobile home. And then he wants to buy a mobile home in the interior. So a lot of agents probably, I might ask you to cut this out later, but probably not. People say, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't travel to the interior. But this guy, it's a good client's brother. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I'm going to help you. So we sold this place. We spent 2 days driving about 1,500 kilometers to look at 10 mobile homes. So I'm not suggesting people do this, so no one get mad at me. And then of course, he purchased a mobile home that was about $90,000. So it wasn't my point of it is it wasn't for commission. Like, it didn't make sense. And I have lots of people saying, you're crazy. Why would you do that? I'm like, because it's a relationship. It's my past client's brother. These are good clients of mine. They want me to help them, so I'm going to help them. I never thought about that. I'm not doing it for what I'm going to make from doing that. I'm doing it because these are 20-year clients of mine that will keep referring me business. So it's not a waste of time. On the surface, okay, maybe, but no, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I went and looked at places all over me. But that's what he wanted me to help him. Like, I could have referred him, and I told him I can get someone else to help you, but that's not what he wanted. So I'm like, okay, then let's go.
Yeah, you actually reminded me
Yeah.
of a story, if I can share too, is that I had one client, they were long clients of mine. They were the longest clients I've ever had. I had them for 5 years. And so I met them when I first started in the industry. And then as time was like going on, I remember certain people that I was working with being like, oh my God, you're still working with those people. Oh my God, you're still working with those people. But the thing is, it's not like they had been calling me every single day, every single week, and wanting to look at stuff. They were looking for something very specific in a very specific area. And when things would pop up, they'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, can we look at this? And it would be like just one or two here or there. And it was just a long rolling relationship. But I had the mindset of every time I went out with them, I felt like I was hanging out with some friends. And that even if they didn't buy today, I was still gaining market knowledge for touring the properties that I went to.
Yep.
And I also had earned a number of referrals from them over the course of the years as well. I could very well have said, oh, these people are wasting my time. But at the same time, I feel like there's so many other great things that come from these relationships. And at the end of the day, I also really enjoyed their company. And I felt like I was hanging
Yeah.
out with some friends.
Yep.
Again, just like that mindset shift of,
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Funny you say friends, because I always tell agents this too, but I treat my clients like friends. Like to me, that's what it is. The whole point of this business is just the relationships. The rest of it, of course, it matters. Your knowledge, all of that matters. So we all should be able to have that knowledge and expertise. But in the end, the business is all about relationships, and really, if you build friendships with your clients, like it's enjoyable, it's fun, and good things come out of it. And you don't want to be looking at things on a deal basis, I guess. To me, like I don't get up in the morning, I need to do this many deals this week or this month or whatever. Of course I want to, I have goals, but it's not on a daily basis. That's not what it's about. If you do everything right, then the success comes. If you focus on how are you going to get this person to buy or this person do this, then actually it's much harder, and you don't. It's a much harder way to become successful.
yeah,
If
I
you do
always
it for
try
the
and
right
lead
reason.
with value too, as opposed to
Yeah.
what am I going to get out of this? It's what,
Yeah.
yeah, what can I give back today? And then it always comes back in abundance as well. But I wonder, have you ever heard this term before? I use it all the time. And have you ever heard the term commission breath?
Commission breath?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Somebody said it
Yeah.
to me once. I think that I was explaining a situation that I had and I was negotiating with someone and they just got really intense and like emotionally escalated. And I was like, wow, this is,
Like the agent, you mean? Yeah.
yeah. I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, holy cow, I was like, we need to like pause on this. And
Yeah.
anyways, I think that whoever I was chatting with, it was a mentor of mine at the time, or like maybe my broker or something like that. They had mentioned the word commission breath. And I'll never forget it because now I can smell it from a mile away. And
Mm.
it's the people who are so desperate to get a deal done because they need the sale that they're not
Yes.
thinking about the client. They're thinking about themselves. And it always backfires. It
It
always
does.
backfires.
It does. Short term and definitely long term. That's the thing. You're right. Again, always telling agents, you're going to be, if you work like that, you're going to be working like that forever. You're always going to be desperately trying to get another deal. Or if you do it the other way, you don't really have to try. You just build relationships with people and they will come to you.
Yeah, and if that
They'll
deal
work with
doesn't
you.
work
And
out, that's
yeah,
okay because now you've maintained that client relationship and you can go help them with something else. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, it's again so simple, but yet again, we weren't going to talk about this, but that is one of the things in the industry that doesn't help us.
Yeah, I
Is
agree. So it sounds
people
like
have that impression
you
of us.
yeah. It sounds like you
Yep.
do really well at maintaining your client relationships. Now that I've found that out about you, I'm curious to know
Yep.
how you maintain your relationships long term and like what
Yep.
you tell your agents at the brokerage to do when they're nurturing their clients and maintaining
Yep.
that long term client
Yeah.
base.
Also, it's pretty. I almost hate to say that it's pretty old school. Like what I've been doing it for years, and also I've gone through periods where I've stopped. So just to throw that in there, I know it works because I've had periods over the 24 years where I stopped doing it, and it's quite noticeable how quickly business changes when you don't do it. But for me, like the basics are I actually send birthday cards to my clients, like handwritten birthday cards, not with a lottery ticket in it, which that doesn't matter. But I send anniversary cards to them on everything if anything they've ever purchased or sold. Christmas cards, again, seems obvious. But the Christmas cards I've always sent for the 20 some years are always handwritten cards, and I always write. It's all about personal. So it's never, none of this stuff is ever business. So I have my kids' pictures in there, what they've done for that year, what they're doing, because my clients have grown up with my kids. So I'll go to clients' houses and they have my kids' pictures on their fridge. Yeah. So it's all about, so that part of it is all just maintaining like a personal connection to them. The other thing I do, I try to see as many clients as often as I can. Of course, that comes and goes. But over the holidays, or now I've just made it over the whole year to try and stop by and see clients on not a regular basis, but I can do it once a year, once every 2 years. The other thing I've been doing for a few years is, so I use text now. So I've adopted that, and I send messages to my clients, personal messages. They do get sent in a mass way, but they don't appear like mass messages. So their birthdays, I still message them on their birthday. I message them on all the holidays. What are you doing for Canada Day? You have any plans? When interest rates are dropping, I'll send, it's all kinds of things. But I have a plan, basically probably 2 to 3 times, maybe twice a month, that my clients get messages from me, but all personal. It's almost, I would say 90% of what I send to my clients never talks about business really. It's just about, so maintaining personal relationships. I'm trying to maintain a relationship as if they're my friend. Yeah. And then of course, if they have questions, yes, they'll reach out to me. What's the other thing? There's something that escaped my mind that I was going to say, and now I've lost it because that's not.
Do you do any like client appreciation events or anything like that for the brokerage, or like for your clients specifically, or?
So right now we haven't done it for the brokerage. That's an idea. But some of my own clients, yes, I do like a summer barbecue basically for clients. And then last year I did a hockey night actually at the office. So I like hockey. So just invited, not everybody, but invited a handful of clients to come to the office and watch the Canucks opening game. Their first game against Edmonton. So I grew up in Edmonton. So I'm an Edmonton and Vancouver fan. So people aren't going to like that, but I cheer for them both. So I had I think like 20 people come to the office, clients, to watch that hockey game and just have pizza and beer and whatever. So again, it's all just, I don't know. I just think you got to look at your clients like friends, most of them, and stay in touch with them that way. I send CMAs to my clients every year. So that's something I've done for years. It's like an investment statement. They don't get a full CMA, but beginning of every year, they get a statement with what their property is worth.
I love that. It's like an equity report. I mean, like,
yeah,
this is where you're at.
Yeah, if you have stocks or mutual funds or whatever, you get this every year. So I think I've been doing that for 15 years.
Oh,
but
wow.
I've always thought like those kind of things, not no one else. I'm sure someone else does it, but I don't know where I got that from. But I think most people aren't going to do it. I want all these things are obviously so that when they're thinking of real estate later, they're not going to think of calling somebody else because they keep getting this stuff from me. Other things, I'm not a big social media person, but I try to friend all my clients on Instagram and on Facebook, my business one, just so that they see the stuff. I don't put a lot on there, but it's all just top of mind. I want them to keep seeing my name. Yeah. So it's really all it is. It's not, I'm not a pressure person, so I don't like, again, I say sales. We're in sales, but I don't like sales in that way. Like it's all just maintain personal relationships, actually.
Yeah, and it sounds like you've leaned into like authenticity as well. This was a conversation that I had with somebody the other day about like really leaning into authenticity. And so for you to set it up where you're like, I really like hockey, so then you put out an invite for people. Yeah. To watch hockey with you. Like you're not like showing up in this persona of something else. It's
no.
Your clients like you for you, and they obviously the ones that showed up to watch hockey, they're like, oh, I really enjoy watching hockey as well. Like when you find those commonalities, it's really easy to keep those relationships.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing, exactly what you're saying. It's actually easy, but a lot of times we make things too hard. Like trying to find ways to get business or ways to do whatever we do, when all you really have to do is be yourself. And it's like you say, it's just relationships with people. So another example, which maybe this is also not good, but so I'm dressed in a t-shirt, right? And jeans. So 90 something percent of the time, that is what I'm always wearing. So like, I believe my clients are like, you want to be comfortable. So I'm not going to put on something that I'm not comfortable with. So I'm not going to I'm not going to wear a suit when I meet my client. There are times where I would, depending on who I'm meeting, but generally no, I just want to be myself. Start out that relationship being myself. And then if it works, if it doesn't work, then that's okay. But it's a lot easier to be yourself than to
It
try and
really
be
is.
somebody else.
I've heard such like polarized opinions on that, and I have a hard time with it because I show up like you, where
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to be me and wear the thing that I'm comfortable wearing. And that's not saying that I'm
Yeah.
wearing like yoga pants or anything like that, but like, I don't have blouses and collared shirts, and I'm
Yeah.
not wearing high heels or blazers. Like, I ended up going and getting some new headshots recently, and the photographer was wanting me to wear a blazer, and I'm like, but I don't wear a blazer,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to show up to
Yeah.
any of my appointments wearing one. And so why would I get a photo in that? Because that's not who they're getting.
That's true. And actually, it made me think of something, because I just realized my photos are quite old and I'm wearing a suit in my photos. So
Are
I should change
you? Yeah. So
that.
like
I should change it, because I never even thought about that. But
when I first
that's what you'll
started in the
see.
business, I started on a team, and the team broker owner, like, again, he was like, nope, you're wearing a black blazer and a white shirt underneath. And that was my original headshot. And then when I branched out from that on my own, I was like, I wanted to do something more fun. And you know what's funny is that the headshot that I used from the photo shoot after the fact was one where the photographer was making me like gut laugh. Like, I was laughing so hard. And that was the headshot that I used,
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm always smiling, I'm always laughing. There's a lot of people who actually like call me Smiley because I'm always smiling about something. And yeah, I was like, that's more authentically me. That makes me feel like me, as opposed to,
Yeah.
again, like these
And then it's much
blazers.
easier. Yeah. And if you're comfortable, you can do a better job, to be honest. If you're just comfortable with everything, it's much easier.
Yeah.
So I think that's, again, everyone has a different opinion, but yeah, I've gone back and forth. I decided quite a while ago that I'm just going to.
I would rather be me, and I'm happy that you would rather be you too. I feel like life is too short to try and be something that you're not.
Yeah. And you can't please everybody. So you can't.
No. And
I
I'm
think
like,
we spend too much time trying to do what other people do. When this industry is hard, it is hard, because you go on social media and you see what everybody's putting on there, and oh, maybe I should be doing that. Maybe I should. No, not really. You just do what you do and try not to worry about what other people do.
yeah, yeah, I agree. You know what's funny? My daughter, she started at a new school this year. I don't know if you have kids or not. So,
I have
oh,
two
right.
two kids, but they're older now, so I'm old. So my
You
kids
did
are
tell
old.
me you had kids. I forgot. Okay, so my
Yeah.
daughter, she's 10. She just started at a new school. Super hard starting in a new school.
Oh yeah.
And she came home one day. She is like wise beyond her years. Wise beyond her years. I always say, I'm like, are you 10 or 25? Who's more mature, you or me? Come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so she came home from school the other day. A lot of people say she sounds like me, actually. And so she came home from school the other day, and she's, Mom. And I was like, yeah. She's, there was this girl who started hanging out with somebody that like I was hanging out with, and I don't feel like I really fit in anymore. And I was like, oh, how come? She's, because she started talking about her Starbucks order that she really likes, and these nails that she was getting from the mall, and
Yeah.
talking about all this different like type of makeup that she has and all these things. And I like took a deep breath, and I started telling her, I was like, Hadley, I was like, she is feeling like she needs to be somebody other than who she is in order to earn yours and this other girl's friendship.
Yep.
And so I
That's a
told
good
her, I
point.
was like, it's okay. I was like, just let her be her, and she will realize that she can just be herself too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, she
Kids have a
definitely
good way
felt that
of.
way. And I see it a lot in our industry where people are just trying to be something else.
Yep.
And eventually, glimpses of who people really are pop through.
It always is going to come through. You can't really hide who you are. You can try, but yes, eventually it comes out.
No, you might
That's
as
what
well
it
just
is.
lean into it, because I feel like birds of a feather flock together. There are people,
Yeah.
clients that will find you for you, and you're going to have so much fun working with those people because they
Yeah.
resonate with you more so than the
Yeah.
person you think you're supposed to be.
Yep. Yeah. And those people that want to work with that kind of person will find that kind of person. That's fine. That's how it should be.
That is fine,
So,
but you want to go
yeah.
watch hockey in your office, and you know what? Like,
Yep.
I want to have that barbecue beach day with my clients. That's what I
Yeah.
want. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to I probably should. I'm not going to go to a really crazy winery that's like super buttoned up because I feel like cider and beaches are more my vibe. And I think that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It is okay. Your clients probably will appreciate that too. Yeah.
Too
But yeah,
funny.
if you're going to do something, you should enjoy doing it.
So
That's
I have a couple more questions for you. We're wrapping
sure.
up, but I'm
Sure.
curious to know what made you decide to be a broker. Where did this
I
come
have to
from
be careful about
exactly?
answering that question too. Honestly, out of not necessity, but to be honest, we were at Remax. I had a team of 10 people. So this is back 15 years ago. And to be quite honest, we were just spending a lot of money. So we had 15 or 10 people, sorry, at Remax. So we were spending $1,500 a month per person, and realized or thought, you know what, we could just open our own brokerage and it will cost us money. Having said that, I don't necessarily agree with that anymore, but we did it. So I'm not sure I would do that again, but we did it. We left, we opened our own brokerage, and here we are. Once you do it, it's hard to back out of it. So,
But grass is
but I'm happy.
this is a
You know,
lesson though that I
yep.
feel like it is like nice to share with people because people always
Yeah.
think grass is greener. Right?
Yeah,
And
we all think that.
so
Yeah.
like you went through this grass is greener, let's open our own, all transitioned into that and then realized you're like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe grass isn't
Probably.
always greener. And now you've pivoted again, which is like
Yep.
amazing. Because now you're Oakwyn and
Yeah.
you still have like your, so yeah, but I feel like
It's,
it resonates with
well,
people because a lot of people are going to do the
yep.
same thing that you did. And
Yeah, and it's not wrong.
you've
Like
done
I've
it.
done lots. I've had a partner. I worked by myself. I had a team. I opened a brokerage. Like I did all these things. Not, I wouldn't necessarily do them all the same, but I don't regret any of those things. That's why I am where I am. We're all where we are because of what we did. So none of them are wrong decisions. But I don't know that I would advise someone to do it, I guess is my point. I have probably,
Maybe
yeah,
not
I
do
wouldn't
it
probably
again.
do that. But now that I've done it, yeah, we're very happy. We love it's like a family. Like again, I always tell people the brokerage, it sounds cheesy, but it's like a family. So it's not for money because it's not you make more money selling real estate than running a brokerage. So it's not for that. It's just for we enjoy it. Like it's still a good business, but it's the people.
It's,
So
yeah,
I
I
wouldn't,
think
I
it
wouldn't,
has to be about the people. Because if it's not
yeah,
about the people, it won't last.
it won't. No, I think I have been very happy. It complements everything. Like having a brokerage, having agents, having my own real estate business, it all works together. Yeah, I wouldn't change it, but to be honest, yeah, the reason we did it was just because we thought that was the right thing to do
I
without a
think
lot of
that
thought.
even if you decided one day that you don't want to be a broker anymore and you bring someone else on to be a broker, though, I think that
Yep.
the education that like comes with that is like you
Oh
can't go
yeah.
wrong with more education.
Nope. No, and I'm a big believer in always trying to do more. Not they don't always work out. You don't know what's going to work if you don't do it. So I don't mind failing. I've failed many times at things, but then there's lots of people that use this quote, but basically you don't really fail. The thing is, you can't fail if you don't try anything. So I can't remember the right quote, but it's not really failing.
Oh, you're
So
talking about the Wayne
you know,
Gretzky one.
it
You
could be
miss
Wayne
every
Gretzky.
chance that you don't, or you miss
Yeah,
every shot you don't take.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I'd rather keep taking shots. You're going to miss most of them, which is fine. So you shouldn't worry about failing. Like, again, you can't worry about that if you don't do anything. But if you don't do anything, you can't succeed either. Yeah, and life is fun. So it doesn't really matter. I don't really worry about how it's going to turn out. Little bits, but in the big picture, just keep doing stuff. That's what life's about. Some
The
of them
people
work
who
out,
are
some of
most
them don't work
successful
out.
are the ones who have failed the most too. So
Yeah,
learn
yeah,
as you
because you
go.
can't hit the right thing if you don't do things. So
Yeah. I love
yeah,
that. No,
so
it's great. And I think you
yeah,
have a really great mindset and just that you're such an open book about sharing your stories with like me and with the agents that you work with, all that stuff. I think transparency is so important because a lot of times people feel like they're on an island alone and that they're the only ones who are struggling with certain things or running into roadblocks and feeling a certain way about business and clients. And that's just not true. It's not true at all. So
no, it's not. In fact, the people you think are doing people you think have it made or they're doing the best, they all have the same struggles.
Yeah, it's not always the highlight reel on social media that everyone thinks that it is. So I think it's great that you're vulnerable and can share that with people. Not everybody does, and I wish that more people would.
Yep, no, I agree.
Well, thank you again for being on the podcast today. There's so many nuggets that I took from today and that I know that people in the industry are going to take. And again, just like leaning into the authenticity and vulnerability and learning from each other is amazing and really valuable for people. So I just want to thank you again for sharing all of that with us. And if anybody is listening to this and in Coquitlam wants to hang out with Keith, your office is in Coquitlam, as I had mentioned before, and you have a number of ways to find you on the internet. So what is your website? It's Strang Team or?
Yeah, that's my website, but that's probably the easy way to find me, strangteam.com.
Okay, and then you have your Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of those as well. I feel like the wonderful world of the internet these days, you just Google a name and people pop up.
Yep. It's not hard, which is a good thing most of the time.
Yeah, this is true. Just don't do anything silly that's going to get posted on the internet and we'll be okay.
Yep. I'm good with that. I don't say much online, so.
Too funny. Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. That was great.
That's a wrap on this episode of Real Estate Real Talk. Whether you're an agent building your business or a buyer or seller trying to get the real story, thanks for being here. If this episode gave you clarity, confidence, or just something to talk about, I'd love for you to follow, rate, and share the show. It helps more people find these conversations. If you have questions or want to connect, head over to SkyleighMcCallum.com or come hang out with me on Instagram. Thanks for listening, and I hope you catch the next episode on Real Estate Real Talk.